unplug the machine on him during his game. And that is why Jimmy Kimmel had us on the show, and what would you call that? The excitement, or the it actually made the story bigger than life, that a guy played for 40 hours and the machine got unplugged on him. In fact, it was in, anybody here see the movie Wreck-It Ralph? Yeah. In Wreck-It Ralph, there's a scene, not only is he immortalized as Mr. Litwack in Wreck-It Ralph, but there's a scene where Q*bert is holding up a sign, and Ralph goes over to him and he's like, "What's your problem?" And Q*bert holds up the sign and it says, "Game Unplugged." So it's pretty crazy, just how you have an impact on American pop culture. That is one thing that Walter said to me once, which I'll never remember, I'll never forget, I'll never remember.
Oh, okay, now, I'll bet some of the people out here, this is brand new. This interesting subculture centered around Richie and Billy and Joe. How many people out there, this is all new to? They were dragged here by a friend and they didn't know about Billy and Richie and Twin Galaxies and arcade stuff, so only one person, everybody else all knew about this? So this is new to you too? I was actually wondering what your take was tonight, how unique this was, or how strange this was, or how much fun this was.
It was phenomenal.
Can you appreciate them?
It was phenomenal.
I guess what I'm really saying is, can the new people appreciate how much incredible fun this has been to the rest of the people who have been involved in this for 35 years now?
Good question, Walter.
It's just, do I win something?
Hey, you win something.
Yeah! Right. There you go.
Next question.
Well, today's community, it's pretty much the same. The only difference is there's a huge disconnect between what yesterday's gamers know about today's gamers versus what today's gamers know about yesterday's gamers. But the community is still the same, the people are still the same, the social issues are still the same, and the graphics of the game are different. That's pretty much it.
What arcade cabinet gave you the most difficult time to restore? Have you ever ran into one that was like,
Oh, absolutely. Great question. Anybody in here collect games? Raise your hand if you have games in your home. All right. You do not have games in your home, Rob Sudo.
Wait, what games are you talking about?
I'm talking about arcade games. What do you think I'm talking about? All right. Anybody here who collects games knows Atari Games, they swell up if they get wet. And they're made out of like this particle board. It's not plywood. Like Stern cabinets are wood, and like Pac-Man is wood. And the press board, anytime you get like a Crystal Castles, I'll give you a perfect example. I have a beautiful Crystal Castles that got wet on the bottom, and it just mushrooms out so that the spreads out. So I say any Atari cabinet that gets wet is just no fun, because you have to strip all of the artwork off and then put it back on again. So any Atari game is the toughest, but the most fun, of course, is Space Invaders. That one's a fun one to restore.
Well, competitive gaming has many different facets to it. So there's no particular one type of competitive gaming. When you look at competitive gaming today, it's even taken under a new name. They call it esports. When in reality, it's just competitive gaming. Video games isn't a sport. But the term was created so that today's people could get a better understanding of what the competitive gaming was like. And within that, you have genres and then subgenres of competitive gaming. So you'll have the classic style, which is with the scores. That's founded by Walter Day. Even with the head-to-head, because even back then, you had Karate Champ, which had head-to-head against other people. Then you have the speed demo, the speed archive, when you do the speed runs in the video games. And then you have what's today's modern video games, which is like Street Fighter and Smash Brothers and League of Legends, which all of those have their different genres. And which is why video games is so great, and so much people throughout the world can get into it, because it just has layers upon layers of different aspects of gaming that everybody can get into. So it's no one particular thing. It's not a linear. It's very versatile and diverse. Repeat that?
So does speed ever factor in the arcade, though?
Well,
yes.
Pac-Man right now is a speed thing. The perfect Pac-Man, it's now who can get the fastest Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
once the perfect happens, then it's who can get the fastest perfect. You know?
The challenge never ends. The
It's
challenge
the
never
next
ends.
challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, there's speed runs on other games as well that were added right before Twin Galaxies stopped taking the records, and they're going to be there, and probably even more so after they resume that. Renzi has a speed record. There's I think a speed record going to be on Tron. There's other games. That's just two of many.
Then there's all kinds of odd variations. You play Donkey Kong without a hammer. I mean, it actually gets silly.
Any game you can add distinctions that would differentiate would be what they'll be looking for.
It's just different levels of creativity.